Hello everyone, it's Paul Feldman, InsuranceNewsNet, and I'm excited to be here at the ITC 2024 conference with one of the biggest innovators that I've met at this conference, and it's Xcela. Xcela, I've seen their product. It's a really interesting concept. It should be, I think it might be industry standard going forward. Tell us a little bit about what you do.
So, my name is Angus. Thank you for inviting us here, Paul. Really appreciate it. I'm so excited to have this fireside chat with you. A little bit about Xcela. We focus on an AI platform helping insurance agents and brokerages to sell faster and better. And the way that we do it is the AI platform is going to handle the sales and operations, the manual tasks for you, so that agents can focus on the client relationship much better.
How does that work?
All right, you want to get into that a little bit?
Yeah, so my name's Nick Bowman. Paul, thanks for having us here today. I'm one of the co-founders of Xcela. I've been in life insurance for 14 years, and I started out as a agent at Mass Mutual, cold calling 200 people a day, all the way through to working as in the advanced markets team at Lion Street. And our tool really helps accelerate the underwriting process and pain points that agents are having. It's still, I started the business 14 years ago. It's still done mostly the same way, even with a lot of the digital innovation. There's a lot of manual inputs and manual entries. What we're doing is making that pain point not a pain point anymore. Automating all of those features to really give a seamless process to not just the underwriting piece, but various administrative tasks.
And one of the cool things that I've seen with your platform is the fact that an agent can go in, they can type out all of the drugs that somebody's on.
Yeah.
They can put in all of the habits they have or problems they have. And you guys are shopping the underwriting guides.
Yeah.
All through AI, through natural conversation, which is even better because I'm not even sure I can spell Prozac. But that makes it easier for an agent. So when they're in the field, or a BGA, or a carrier, or whoever is looking at an application. So tell us a little bit more about how that works.
Yeah, it's really cool. So most insurance is still sold kitchen table, and our tool, our platform, is meant for not only computer usage, but it's also an underwriter and a case manager in your pocket. So while you're sitting with a client, in 5 minutes, you can have them sign a HIPAA, get all their medical data, and run it through the carrier guidelines to find out where that client lines up and who the next step will be. So it really accelerates our whole.
Yeah, I went through your process and I found I'm uninsurable.
Yeah.
That might not be true.
Yeah.
The reason is because we have a lot of clients that we work with, right? When they actually put in their client information for the applicants, what they find out is for certain carrier, yes, it might be uninsurable, but then there's always something that you can do. From our AI, we will recommend actions that you can take, things that you can do, information that you can collect to make it an insurable class. So that way, at least you can work with a client to work towards that.
And I think that's really valuable.
Yeah.
I mean, as an agent advisor to a client, underwriting for life insurance is the hardest thing.
Yep.
It's, one would think it should be easy, but it's not easy. Case in point.
Yeah. So one of the things that we did really well, I think, in our software, in our platform, is that we want the agents to focus on the relationship with the clients, and all the heavy work, labor work behind the scene, we take care of that on our platform. And underwriting is one of the things that you can actually, what we can do is, like with the field underwriting, we minimize the turnaround, minimize the round trip you have to negotiate with the insurance carrier, because you got the right information up front by talking to your client, so that you can work on the much more speedy offers for them, rather than like what, in some cases, 6 to 9 months.
Yeah.
We can actually bring it down to like a little under a week.
So tell me a little bit more about this. Like, what should an agent, advisor, BGA, IMO, why should they be looking at this?
So one of the, well, depending on whether independent agents or brokerages or IMOs, right? For independent agent, it's easy. The reason is because they can collect information on the client, they use our software and get some indicative offer. And then for brokerages and IMOs, the story is a little bit different because they usually work at a much higher volume of applications. They might have more agents. that they're working with. And the way that they are using our software is going to be the ROI that they're looking at, operation efficiency, because they have to push through a lot of applications through our system so that they can actually achieve the high throughput using our AI platform.
So tell me a little bit more about how you guys are helping BGAs, IMOs, agents, advisors with your technology platform.
Very good question, Paul. The way that we deal with it is we actually have two different approaches. Agents, independent agents, they actually use our software to get a quick quote, get a quick offers from our system. They got a client, they got some basic information, they can easily get the offers from our system, from the field underwriting guides, from the various insurance carrier. That way, it actually helps them to understand what are the best carrier, best offer they're going to go for, so that it minimizes the turnaround time for them, so that it's a lot easier for the clients and for them to close the deal. For BJs and also for IMOs, it's going to be different. The reason is because with BJs and IMOs, what they do is they have a much bigger operations. They have a lot of agents in place. What they do is they really want to see how can they push through a lot more cases faster. And the way that we offer value for them is the operational efficiency. We collect information, we drive the data points that's important to drive the underwriting decisions all in one place to make it fast, cutting down from months to literally under a week so that they can push through all the system. So,
Yeah, most of the time on those applications is really missing information. So you're going back and forth with the carrier, and then you got to go back and forth with the client. What we're doing is telling you all those little pieces that are missing right while you're sitting with the client, so you don't have to do the back and forth anymore. It's all there.
Which I think is really helpful.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm an agent and I'm sitting in front of a client and they tell me, I'm on this blood pressure medication, what are the next questions to follow up that's going to help the underwriting?
absolutely. That's right.
And then some of the partnerships that we have with exam companies and reinsurers, we're able to gather third-party data sources that bring in, all right, great. Big pain point is clients don't always tell you the medication that they're on or their doctors. Not because they're lying, just because they don't remember. I mean, do you remember all the doctors you've seen in the last 2 years? No. So what we're able to do in less than 5 minutes is pull a list of every doctor they've seen in the last 5 years and tell the agents which ones are actually beneficial for ordering their EPS records.
So you guys are doing almost like the whole MIB while the agent is in front of the client, or?
Good question. Not doing MIB.
Okay.
We're getting all the prescription history data. All those doctors that wrote a prescription are in that form.
Okay, that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we're
So
also
you
able
guys
to
are
tell you-
shortening underwriting time. You're making it easier for agents to do business and ask the clients the right questions.
Correct.
And I think that's really fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can take an agent that knows nothing about underwriting, whether it's a P&C agent that wants to get into life, and make them look like an expert. We can also take the life insurance agents who are solely focused on life and really provide value in the underwriting process and augment them to be better. I mean, we have two guys here that have 9 patents in AI and machine learning. Came out of Google, came out of Salesforce. Really smart guys, smarter than I'll ever be. And we believe that AI doesn't replace people, it makes them better. I think that that's a big differentiator for us. Another big differentiator is that any data you put in a software, it's always your data. We don't keep it. We don't even train on it. It's just an encrypted housing network for you. And if you say, you know what, I don't like Xcela, I don't want to work with them anymore, we'll give you your data back. No questions asked.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. So one thing I want to add, right? So not the secure container and all that, but more on the functionality side, right? Some of the agents that we've been talking to is they have to use so many different pieces of software. Some of them is like manual. They have to call the health provider up to get the prescriptions, maybe another portal to get those informations. What we are doing here is a one single platform so that they can get everything within our platform without having to do any of the manual tasks. Critical in terms of operational efficiency. And then in addition to that, I also want to say one thing is about the data, right? Which Nick actually mentioned here. The data that we are using in order to help the client to achieve a better outcome, definitely we are not going to trade those data, personal data over there. In fact, we actually have compliances like the HIPAA compliant in place so that one last thing the agent has to deal with when they work with the clients. We have the HIPAA compliant form that's in-house in our software that you can actually directly send out to your client, and they can actually take out an e-signature over there, and we can get the additional information afterwards.
So where do you see your technology going in the next year?
That's a very good question. So let me take the first take, and XT will be chiming in about that as well, right? So we start with an AI platform. Our initial goal right now today is to use language models, RAG, and all the good stuff to help an agent to sell faster and better. So with some integration as well. Our goal is to get this to the next level for the brokerages. So we work with brokerages to do operation efficiency. Now the next step, what we're going to do is to understand some of the more complex documents that they are providing. It could be the APSs they are submitting to us. It could be more underwriting guides they have in-house that they want to use it. We will be able to process those too as well to help them with the decisions. Maybe XD can
As an agent, can they submit the API through your platform?
They can.
The APS, not API.
Yes, APS, yes.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that we have been looking at right now. That's something that we would love to get into our platform soon.
So today, just to give a user answer, today you can actually, if you wanted to, it's not meant for that, but you can upload APSs. Many of our users have been reporting pretty decent use cases from a summarization standpoint. It is not designed for that at the moment, but it is working pretty well.
You want to chime in on the?
Yeah, let me quickly introduce myself first. So I'm an engineer. Prior to Xcela, I worked at Google as engineering director. I built a few teams and led development for a few AI and search recommendation products, including document AI. So I think that is very relevant to what we are doing at Xcela. So I see a lot of common challenges that actually are very common for many industries, especially for financial, especially for insurance. So there are many challenges. How do you get the data out from those unstructured storage? For example, like a PDF document or image in a PDF. But so that's why we see a need to really build a platform to help developers actually to build the solutions to meet the special needs for the industry, so especially for financial. And now AI, in particular general AI, is completely different from what we saw a few years ago. That gives us new opportunities to actually solve the problem with a completely different approaches. Right? So the challenge is, how do we adopt Gen AI technology in the right way to get this things done? Is that simple? It's simply just set up the RAG. Because foundation model, LLM, has a lot of problems. There are hallucinations. There are also, they get too general. And we all know for financial, and particularly for insurance, everything need to be must be very accurate. So that's really a challenge for us. So that's why we want to apply some new technologies on top of LLM. So the technology what we call, as Angus mentioned earlier, it's called the RAG, or Retrieval Augmented Generation. So we want to give more specific context for this, specific domain. The search or the guideline get the specific context for the specific insurance carrier, and use that as the specific context, and you can get the right information, and then you can actually call the model and get the right information out, and to really solve the problems.
So we've covered a lot here, and you guys have an awesome platform. Is there a question that I didn't ask that I should have, which is one of my favorite interview questions of all time?
Well, you are right on that, Paul, because that's one thing that we hear from our client that you didn't ask. So anytime we are talking about AI, large language models, there's always something that they will ask. What about hallucinations? How do you guys deal with it? How can we even trust your AI solutions? And that's where we actually focus on one of the number one values in our company at Xcela is trust. The reason that we put this in such a high regard is because we know that if you just use your LLM like that, you will get hallucination. I heard a lot of bad story. In fact, some of our clients tell us that, hey, if I just use an OpenAI, some LLMs out there, right, they will come back with a mandible impairment they never have. And that actually jeopardizes the entire application. So what we did in-house, we actually have special technologies which Sujan helped us to build. It's called a rack that actually ground the data so that it will only use what we provide. So to minimize the hallucination in our systems. So that's why we actually have the trust in place. In fact, it just doesn't stop there. We also have compliances in place as well. Security compliances in place. HIPAA compliance, which we mentioned earlier. Those are very critical for us in order to get the trust from our customers.
And just to riff off of that, we're also really big on transparency. One of the biggest issues that people have with AI, in addition to hallucinations, is how did the AI get that decision? Our tool tells you exactly how it came to that decision, gives you that data to print out so you can take it to a professional underwriter at a carrier and have an actually educated conversation and negotiation with them, as opposed to just trusting the answer.
Super powerful, helps an agent deal with an underwriter. It helps a BGA deal with an underwriter. Probably it does help an underwriter deal with a client.
Yeah.
Yep.
So your solution is very well rounded
That's right.
for a lot of different people in this industry.
Yep.
I thank you for your time.
Yeah.
And you guys are really on the right path. And let's make underwriting fast again.
Thank you, Paul, for having us here.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.